Another National Signing Day is in the books. And, now that we are 3 signing days into the Brent Venables era at the University of Oklahoma, I think it's fair to say that we have a pretty good picture of what these Sooners are going to look like in the years ahead. It's not a bad look.
Let's go!
Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football. I'm your host, Jason Watkins, and if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the notification bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame college football. Folks, I'd like to thank everybody for joining myself and Coach I plus Stat Guy and SEC Mo, Brinsky Sharp from the Sharpshooters podcast, Seawalt, the realist from Fourth and Goal with Seawalt, and of course, Cody Stovall of Locked on Oklahoma State. As we did our National Signing Day special last night, right here on Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. The coach joined us as well to talk about his Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's a good night, man. We had a good time. I thought it was some good content for everybody. Obviously, it ran a little bit long. We are going to be cutting that up to make it a little more digestible, and that's something we want to kind of do more of moving forward. But the purpose of last night's show was really to make sure that we broke down college football in its entirety amongst the elites and where they landed in recruiting on the day. Obviously, the rich got richer. We did speak some about Oklahoma and about this amazing class, but again, and kind of glossing over everything, really feel like we needed to break down more in depth, and we're going to do that over the rest of the week, I believe, to talk about what we can expect moving forward into the SEC in 2024 and beyond. And I think that where it becomes most visible of what direction, what shape this Oklahoma team is taking, the vision of head coach Brent Venables, it's starting to be something that you can see right out in front of you. And I think it's because of, quite frankly, the power line. The power line defense, the trenches, David Stone, Nigel Smith II, Jaden Jackson, Wyatt Gilmore, Danny Okoye, James Nesta, 6 blue chip defensive line prospects that really were a necessity, has been the mandate for this program under Brent Venables after taking over for Lincoln Riley 2 seasons ago, 25 months ago this month. We knew what the mandate was, and this power line had to happen. And as you saw in the previous recruiting class, where you went out and got 3 5-star amazing additions as well, Peyton Bowen, top end safety, who looks like he is every bit a first round talent, headed into his second season. PJ Adebawari, who just looks better every time he gets on the field. They're raving about him inside the Switzer Center. And then, of course, Jackson Arnold, who will be the starting quarterback for the bowl game in the Alamo Bowl here coming up in 1 week from today. And also apparently moving forward as the Sooners enter SEC play on August 31st of 2024. But this class right here, this power line, this group of guys starting off with David, this is exactly what makes Coach Venables smile. This is what really should be making all of us as Sooner fans smile as well. And I understand that, I was watching our buddy Jay Smith from Unfair Sports yesterday when he was talking about this and saying, that we tend to ask, why aren't we getting these guys out of the portal that are those guys from Texas A&M, why aren't we after those guys? Why didn't we get Bear Alexander a year ago? Why aren't we playing the NIL game the way that these other big time programs are? And, I tend to, I just really am of the belief that things all happen for a reason. The guys that are in the recruiting class are signed and delivered now to the Sooners. They're the guys that are supposed to be there, right? If those guys somehow come along and you end up getting a guy like Dominic McKinley in the second signing period in February, great. If you don't, this is how it was supposed to be. And make no mistake about it, these guys are out there working hard and getting the guys that they know they need to get. And, it starts with this guy here, David Stone, product of Del City by way of IMG Academy there in Bradenton, Florida. 5-star plus, top 10 in the country overall prospect who will return to the Oklahoma City stomping grounds that he grew up in to lead the way for his hometown Sooners and continue throwing them horns down. Something he loves to do. With him comes possibly one of the more important additions to this class in Jaden Jackson, who isn't quite as tall as Stoney, but as you can see, monster size, over 300 pounds already, coming in as a freshman. This guy is going to come in and, for all intents and purposes, both of these guys are going to immediately come in and take, and be a part of the rotation. Probably. I mean, they're gonna fight for playing time here. I believe that. When you go to a place like IMG, that's your expectation. Then you have, my favorite recruit in this class, Nigel Smith II. Melissa, Texas, defensive tackle as well. Very versatile, though. You could see this guy moving out to the defensive end edge rush position as well because of the fact that he is just flat out explosive. Guys, this, and then there's another. You want to talk explosive? Let's talk Danny Okoye, another Oklahoma product who has shot up the recruiting rankings, was the MVP at the Alabama camp this past summer, was big on everybody's radar coming down the stretch. He's also coming to Norman as well to play with this power line. It's so important. Now, I'm going to tell you again that I believe David Stone is the most important piece of this puzzle. This is a puzzle that also includes guys like Wyatt Gilmore from Minnesota, another big edge prospect, top 300, 400 player in the country, 4-star, bad intentions, big, fast, strong. James Nesta, another edge rushing prospect who apparently will be pitching for the Sooners as well the Sooner baseball program. He's out of North Carolina, big linebacker prospect, probably going to be looking at more that edge rush when he gets to Oklahoma, puts a little weight on. He is another guy that hits with bad intentions and likes to play physical brand of football. But as I said, the most important to me piece of this puzzle has been David Stone. And yeah, he's a 5-star plus guy. Definitely, and these are the guys that are pretty much expected and, almost a lock if they live up to their expectations of being a first round draft pick. That's what the 5-star guys, there's 32 of them, just like there's 32 picks in the first round of the draft. So that's where he is. Now, I would tell you that the reason he's so important is because he has been the recruiting link for guys like his teammate at IMG, Jaden Jackson. Jaden Jackson, a monster, right? You're going to see big things out of this guy, but he was the guy that really pulled this power line together, right? Was able to get Danny Okoye, to come in and become a member of this program as well. This is a 6 total blue chip defensive line prospects, guys. And that's added to an amazing class that you had a year ago that was headlined by safety Peyton Bowen, a top 15 in the country overall player, the number 2 safety in the country overall. PJ Adebawari, the number 1 edge rusher in the country, top 5 overall in the 247 composite. And then, of course, Jackson Arnold, quarterback, who will take over as a starter as a true sophomore this next season. He's also 5-star plus, Elite 11 winner, top 10 overall ranking in the country coming out. This team and this class is doing, or this program, this staff is doing its thing on the recruiting trail. It's doing its thing on the recruiting trail. And that's a big deal, guys. That it really is. To me, you have to know that just though looking at this, and we're going to break down all of this. There's, you added Taylor Tatum in this class, an underrated, unbelievable running back in Xavier Robinson as well. You have another unbelievably gifted quarterback and a legacy player in Michael Hawkins Jr., whose father came and played at Oklahoma for Brent Venables in the past, spent over a decade in the NFL as well. He's coming in, right? With him comes Devon Mitchell, who, as a 2025 recruit, was a top 10 overall prospect at tight end, having played with Hawkins there at Allen, Texas in the 2022 season. Both of them separated, and Devon ended up in California in the 2023 season. Hawkins played for Frisco Emerson, taking them all the way to the state semifinal round of the Class 5A UIL playoffs just these past couple of weeks. 55 touchdowns for Hawkins. Again, Taylor Tatum, one of the top 2 running backs in the country. Xavier Robinson, underrated as I'll get out at about 240, a sub 4.5, 6'2" running back that draws comparisons to guys like Derrick Henry. Guys, I really believe that this is going to be really good offensively as well. You've got safeties like Devon Jordan. You've got, they're still killing it. Eli Bowen, little brother of Peyton, cornerback, is one of Venables' favorite recruits as well. And rightfully so. He's a ball hawk. He's always breaking up passes or getting interceptions at Denton Guyer as well. This is a big time pickup as well. But we're going to break all these guys down over the next few weeks. But what's important, and I believe what kind of piggybacking off of what Jay said yesterday, this class was so much about the power line. This power line and doing what to head into the SEC and be able to put together this kind of a trench warfare team, if for lack of a better word, headed by a guy like David Stone with talent out the ears when it comes to that 2 and 3 technique guy of guys like Stone. You're going to have Jackson and also, Nigel Smith, who all you got to do is watch that kid play basketball to know how explosive he is. 6'5", 260. He didn't get out to as many camps. That's the only reason I believe that that's the only reason that Nigel Smith isn't a 5-star player. He wasn't a camp guy. But he put in the work, and watch his film. Watch him play basketball. Watch him play football. His dad's a professional athlete, played professional basketball. This dude is the real deal. I love this class, man. And this was the class that really had to set the stage headed into the SEC. It was important. The transfer portal, getting guys, and you're going to continue to add some of that talent probably in the portal. And I understand that everybody is still biting at the bit to get some of those high talent guys that could end up in the portal, as bowl season continues on. But the one thing I wanted to say was this. I think that don't make the mistake of believing that it's always because Oklahoma didn't pay up the right amount of money to get a guy out of there. They didn't cough up the cash to get a guy like DJ Hicks if he does end up in the portal, and I don't know that he is. Let's not get that idea. Don't think that those guys turned down Brent Venables and Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis because they just didn't have the right pitch or they're not doing their job as recruiters. Heard a lot of that over the past couple of years. Crazy. Keep in mind that Brent Venables has said it since he got here. The most important thing to him is the culture inside that locker room, and that everything that they do shows and is towards building towards a championship. Everything they do is with intention. As you can tell, this class, the class before, they're all starting to take shape, and you can see a familiar intention behind everything they do. This team's identity is not just going to be explosive offense anymore. I think explosive offense is going to be part of it. It's been part of it for 2 decades. That's not going to go away. This is Heisman U when it comes to quarterbacks. And by the way, there was Heisman quarterbacks before Lincoln Riley showed up. Okay. But now, much like the early years of the Stoops era, and when you had guys like Teddy Lehman and Superman Roy Williams and Gerald McCoy and Tommy Harris, and the list goes on, this calling card of this football team is going to be defense going into the SEC. You know why? Because it has to be. We all clamor and can't wait for a national title to return to Norman. But it had to be done this way with these guys. There may be some guys like Dominic McKinley. That'd be awesome. We've seen film on all these dudes. They are unbelievable. What I'm going to tell you is this. Folks, trust this staff and what they're doing. Todd Bates, Miguel Chavis, the defensive line coaches and recruiters, Coach Venables, Brandon Hall, Jay Valai, Ted Roof. Trust these guys. They know what they're doing. And that everything they do was intentional. They're not just going to fall into a player. And a matter of fact, I would tend to tell you that a lot of these guys that you may have heard they were looking at, or maybe they offered them or whatever in the portal, chances are they didn't at all. Chances are they did. Maybe they had a chat. Maybe they had a conversation. Maybe they found out right away, as Venables said, if there's any kind of drama, particularly surrounding NIL money, they're not a fit. And the one thing you've seen is that he is dedicated to his culture and what he believes the kind of players fit this program. Culture is doing everything all the time the same way, not bending it for anyone. They are playing the NIL game. Don't believe that they're not. They are. The money was there for some of the transfers that left, including Caden Green. Why he decided to leave, that's up to for those guys to know. What I also, as I said, if he was asking for more than he was worth, or making it about him more than about the team, trying to drive up a price on somebody else just to leave anyway, this is not a guy you want in your program. I don't care how talented he is. If they're here, they're supposed to be. If they're not, they're not. That's as simple as I can put it. Keep that in mind, everybody, as we move forward through this recruiting season. You've got the second signing day coming up. I don't know that you're going to see a bunch more movement. You may end up seeing a couple of guys shoring up through the portal. Definitely, they would love to have Dominic McKinley if he ends up, if there's a possibility there. I know that his family loved Oklahoma when they were here at the Champion Barbecue over the summer. He was very close to picking the Sooners, but I still think that Texas is probably in on this as well, since he flipped or decided to open up his recruiting again. Texas is definitely in on it. They've made a big push in signing day, another top 5 class for Steve Sarkisian and the Longhorns. I know that Nigel Smith is working on him, as is David Stone. This Powerline group, they love to recruit. They know what it takes to be a championship defense, and that means a lot of talent in a lot of places. I'm excited about it. I think this offseason is going to go dreadfully long because I can't wait for the SEC schedule to open up next year. Guys, get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this class. Let me know what you think about the way BV and his staff is moving in the portal. Do you understand that this is about intentional recruiting and the way they want to do things? Tell me, what do you want me to break down next? We will be getting into some of the offensive players. I want to get into the offensive line. We're going to jump into some of the portal stuff. May get some of these other OU creators to jump on with me and talk a little bit about that as well. But definitely, we're going to talk about all 3 levels of the defense, what it looks like headed into the SEC, and we've got to get into some bowl prep practice. This is a week away from the Arizona Wildcats at the Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. So let me know what you think of the content. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're not already a subscriber, we would love to have you as one. Again, as I said, we are less than 80 away from 3,000 in right about a year and a half. I'm super grateful for all of you folks that make up our audience and continue to help grow this platform that we love so much. Thanks so much for coming on, checking out the show. I will see you guys coming up real quick.